Hello everybody out there, and welcome back here once again with The Future to another movie review here with The Future. This is the 7th movie review that I have done in this series. Go back and check out all other 6 movie reviews that I have done. It is under my The Future's movie review playlist, so go ahead and check that out. Make sure to give me a like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you hear. This one here today will be Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It is a 2016 American 3D dark fantasy adventure film directed by Tim Burton and written by Jane Goldman. It is based on the 2011 novel of the same name by Ransom Riggs. The film stars Ava Green, Asa Butterfield, Chris O'Dowd, Allison Janney, Rupert Everett, Terrence Stamp, Ella Purnell, Judi Dench, and Samuel L. Jackson. Filming began in February 2015 in London and the Tampa Bay area. It premiered at Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas on September 25, 2016, and was theatrically released in the United States on September 30, 2016 by 20th Century Fox. It received mixed reviews and has grossed over $66 million worldwide as of the date of me recording this review, October 4th, 2016. Here's a little synopsis on it. Over the years, Jacob Jake Portman, Asa Butterfield, and his grandfather Abraham A. Portman, who was played by Terrence Stamp, have begun telling stories about battling monsters with tentacles and different children, some being Emma, a girl who floats, Millard, an invisible boy, Olive, a girl who can make fire, Bronwyn, a very strong girl, and many more. Abe also explained that there was a head mistress named Miss Peregrine who can turn into a peregrine falcon and lives in a home on an island. When his beloved grandfather leaves, Jake clues to a mystery that spans different worlds and times. He finds a magical place, but the mystery and danger deepen as he gets to know the residents and learns about their special powers and their terrifying enemies. Ultimately, Jake discovers that his own special peculiarity can save his new friend. Now, my opinion on this movie is that it had a very good lead-in to what we were just talking about, to his peculiarity and finding out about it and visiting the school and his grandpa and everything. And the whole beginning was great, but once it got to a scene where everybody will see it, Miss Peregrine turns into the peregrine falcon and she flies into the cage. Once it hits that, it's like utter chaos and it's just hard to follow, I guess you would say, kind of. I mean, you can follow it, but it's just like Tim Burton gets just over the top and carried away. I don't know why he didn't use his stop motion animation for the Hollows characters instead of using a more CGI technique, and that's kind of a spoiler, but you'll see the movie and you'll think it for yourself if you're a Tim Burton fan. He's always been good at using that stop motion animation in his films, which makes him different, and I really wish he would have done something like that with the giant Hollow characters instead. Another complaint is that there is a lot of parts that could have been cut out of this movie to make it about 15-20 minutes short. I felt that the second half was a little bit too long, that maybe in the beginning they could have cut scenes short. And you're going to get your typical Tim Burton stuff, his film direction, his lighting that he uses, a lot of shadows. It's very dark, macabre feeling. So you have that very dark feeling that Tim Burton always gives you in his movies, which I do enjoy a lot of his movies. This one doesn't seem to be one of his best efforts that he's done, but nonetheless, it is very good. It did not let me down as far as his style of work and how he likes to come off as a director. He was very dark in it. There was a lot of parts where you thought that the film was going to end, actually, but instead it keeps going. So I just don't really like when that happens in movies, when you think it's coming to an end and then all of a sudden you're like, boom, check back in. But you gotta say that all the peculiar children were very cool in this movie, which I went through and named off some of them when I was going through the hypnosis. All those children do exist that his grandfather talks about. You have Ella Purnell as Emma Bloom, the aerokinetic teenager who can control air and create liquid bubbles, and she is also the love interest of Jake. She must be weighed or tethered to prevent her from floating away. She uses these shoes that strap her down. You have Lauren McCrosty. She's Olive Abraholis Elephanta, a pyrokinetic teenager. She can touch things and make them light on fire, or just touch you for that matter and burn you alive if she wanted to. Cameron King as Millard Nollings, an invisible boy, which reminded me a lot of The Invisible Man, the old Universal Classic monster line. Pixie Davies as Bronwyn Bluntly, an inhumanly strong child. Georgia Pemberton as Fiona Fraunfield, a preteen who could control and maintain plants, and they had a part in the movie where she pulled up a carrot out of the garden displaying her peculiarity. Finley McMillan as Enoch O'Connor, a teenager who can resurrect those dead for a limited time. He holds a grudge against Abraham and Jake due to what happened to Victor, but yes, he can resurrect dead people for a limited time. Milo Parker as Hugh Apiston, a preteen who has a beehive living in his stomach, so every time he coughs or chokes or something, bees just come flying out of his mouth. And as I said, these characters are very Tim Burton-like. Just think on the lines of Edward Scissorhands, Big Fish, and maybe Beetlejuice, and you have all those movies mixed in at once, and you get all those kind of visual effects. Raffaella Chapman as Claire Densmore, a girl with an extra mouth hidden on the back of her head, and everybody's seen on the trailer where she eats the turkey leg, I guess it was, out of the back of her head. Hayden Keeler Stone as Horace Samussen, a boy with prophetic dreams, and he has this eyepiece that he puts in, and he can project his dreams like a movie projector on the side of the wall. There's Joseph as Thomas Odwell as the masked twins, twin boys who are actually, this is kind of a spoiler now, Gorgons, but they are actually like Medusa, Snakehead. They look at you, you turn to stone. If you know what a Gorgon is, you know what I'm talking about. If not, go look it up. Just think Medusa from Clash of the Titans. Luis Davison is Victor Bluntly, the late brother of Bronwyn Bluntly, killed by a hollow as he had his sister's peculiarity. His sister's peculiarity was inhumanly strong strength. And then you had the Whites, who were the villainous hollows. They had to eat eyeballs in order to turn from hollows back into their normal selves. And there is Mr. Barron, Samuel L. Jackson, the leader of the Whites. The immortal rogue peculiars that hunt and kill young peculiars with their physical abilities and disguises. He can disguise himself as anyone. I don't want to give away any of the movie, so I'm not going to tell you who he disguises himself as, but he does disguise himself as a couple people. There's Jack Brady as Mr. Clark, one of the Whites, Phil Fillmore as Mr. Archer, Scott Handy as Mr. Gleason, and Helen Day as Miss Edwards. And the way it was tied in to, hunting down the peculiars and consuming eyes from them helped them restore themselves to their natural look form, which was Samuel L. Jackson, so it helped them become from grotesque back to Samuel L. Jackson, if you know what I mean. It was very peculiar, to say the least. Critical reception has been half-half, kind of like I've been saying. I'm going to give this movie overall about an 8 out of 10. And a 10-star rating, I would say an 8. It is not one of the best Tim Burton adaptations that he has done, but it is a pretty good film nonetheless, and definitely Tim Burton fans who like that dark, macabre side of him are going to enjoy the visual effects, at least, of this movie. I went and saw it in 3D. I recommend to see it in 3D if you can. It does have a lot of 3D cool effects, and the audio is really good in this movie. Also, the score of this movie I found to be very good. I think that they're going to win something for the music in this. It's Mike Hyam and Matthew Margeson, maybe. I don't know if I got the name right, but I tried. I think that they're going to win something for that music. If they don't, I'll be surprised. But, it's the highest movie right now going in the box office. I think it's number 1 at the time. If I'm wrong, correct me. I've been known to be wrong, but I think I have seen that it is number 1 in the box office. Get out. Go to your local theater, support it, and check out the movie if you want to see it. If you're a Tim Burton fan, I know you won't be let down. If you're a movie goer, not really a Tim Burton fan, I think you might be a little bit let down and think it's a little bit too long. But that's my only critique about the movie, other than parts could have been cut down, I think. And he tries to go too over the top with it, with some of his macabre humor and darkness. But other than that, I thought it was pretty decent overall. Like I said, 8 out of 10. If you like this review, go check out my other 6 that I've done. I want to thank everybody for listening. If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe, give me a like, comment, and rate. Make sure to catch me on my next movie review. Make sure you go out and support your local theaters. As I said, we want them to stick around. Until next time, guys, like always, hope you enjoyed the review, and peace out.